Hello everyone, in this video we are going to discuss a very common question in resistance training. Do advanced training methods really build more muscle? Drop sets, rest pause, cluster sets, velocity-based training, eccentric overload. These methods are everywhere in gyms, social media, and modern hypertrophy programs. But what does the scientific evidence actually say when we compare them with traditional resistance training? Do advanced methods truly produce superior muscle growth? Or are the differences smaller than many people believe? In this video, we are going to analyze a recent systematic review and meta-analysis on advanced resistance training systems. If you enjoy evidence-based hypertrophy and strength training content, subscribe to the channel, leave your like, and stay until the end of the video. This topic matters because advanced methods have become extremely popular. Today, social media is full of claims that certain techniques are dramatically better for hypertrophy. But popularity does not automatically mean scientific superiority. Many advanced systems are promoted based on anecdotal experience, training culture, or the perception of higher intensity. That is why comparing these methods with traditional multiple set training is important. The central question is, do advanced systems actually produce superior adaptations? Or are they simply useful tools for specific situations? So what exactly are advanced resistance training systems? These are strategies designed to manipulate training density, fatigue intensity, or mechanical stimulus beyond traditional straight set training. The study analyzed methods such as drop sets, rest pause training, cluster sets, tempo-controlled lifting, velocity-based training, and eccentric overload. Each method attempts to modify training stress in a different way. Some increase density, others manipulate fatigue, and some focus more directly on force production and neuromuscular performance. Now let's understand how the study was conducted. The authors performed a systematic review and meta-analysis. 23 studies involving recreationally trained adults were included. The goal was to compare advanced systems with traditional multiple set resistance training. The main outcomes analyzed were muscle hypertrophy and maximal strength. The researchers also examined factors such as method type, training volume, and proximity to muscular failure. So, the study attempted to evaluate the topic from a broader evidence-based perspective. When all outcomes were pooled together, advanced systems showed a small overall advantage over traditional training. But there is an important detail. That advantage appeared mainly for strength, not necessarily for hypertrophy. In other words, the idea that advanced systems always produce dramatically greater muscle growth was not supported by the overall evidence. For hypertrophy, the differences were relatively small. This is important because the perception on social media is often much stronger than what we actually observe in controlled studies. When the authors analyzed hypertrophy specifically, the findings became even more interesting. The overall hypertrophy advantage of advanced systems was small and statistically non-significant. Rest pause training showed modest hypertrophy benefits in some situations, but overall, many methods produced muscle growth outcomes very similar to traditional training, especially when volume and effort were matched. This point is extremely important because it suggests that the key drivers of hypertrophy are probably not the name of the method, but rather training volume, effort, proximity to failure, and execution quality. Strength outcomes were more favorable for advanced methods. The meta-analysis found moderate advantages for maximal strength development, especially with methods such as velocity-based training and eccentric overload. From a physiological perspective, this makes sense. These methods can manipulate force production, movement velocity, and neuromuscular stress in highly specific ways. So while hypertrophy superiority was not strongly supported, some advanced systems may have meaningful applications for strength development. Another very important finding involved training volume and proximity to failure. When total volume and effort were similar, many advanced methods produced adaptations comparable to traditional training. This helps challenge a very common belief. More complex does not automatically mean more effective. In practice, traditional resistance training methods remain extremely effective for both hypertrophy and strength. Advanced systems may change how the stimulus is organized, but they do not appear to override the fundamental principles of resistance training. Even so, advanced systems may offer important practical advantages. One of them is time efficiency. Methods such as drop sets and rest pause training increase training density and allow more work in less time. They may also improve training variety and athlete engagement. Some methods are useful for manipulating fatigue or emphasizing force production and neuromuscular performance. So the value of these systems may be less about magic hypertrophy and more about practicality, variation, and strategic application. The study also helps clarify several misconceptions. First, more fatigue does not automatically mean more hypertrophy. Second, advanced systems increase complexity and recovery demands. And third, they are not necessarily better for beginners. In many cases, traditional training already provides almost everything a beginner needs to progress effectively. Another important point is individual variability. Different athletes may respond differently to different strategies. So context, goals, preference, and training experience still matter enormously. So, when might advanced systems actually be useful? For example, breaking plateaus, time-efficient sessions, strength emphasis, greater training variety, and athlete engagement. But this does not mean abandoning traditional training. Traditional methods remain highly effective for building hypertrophy foundations, technical learning, fatigue management, and long-term progression. In practice, the smartest approach is probably not choosing one side. It is understanding when each strategy makes sense. To finish, let's summarize the central message of the study. Advanced resistance training systems can be useful tools within resistance training programs, especially for strength development, training variation, high-density sessions, and specific programming goals. But the current evidence does not support the idea that these methods universally produce greater hypertrophy than traditional training. When effort and volume are similar, many outcomes are also very similar. This reinforces an important principle. The fundamentals of resistance training still matter most. Volume, effort, progressive overload, consistency, and recovery remain more important than simply choosing the most advanced method. If this video was useful, subscribe to the channel, leave your like, turn on notifications, and share this video with coaches, students, and training professionals. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.